Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why the Giants are nothing but a mistake. I'm tired of this fucking team. No, I'm just joking. No, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Let's go, Eagles. Saquon Barkley, how we don't need your 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. Because no one needs a $12 million running back getting handed off to by a $40 million quarterback. It only works in Philly. So I'm at the game. Took my loving wife to the game. I love Salute to Service. I think Salute to Service. Good morning, OG Knockout. I think Salute to Service is a great time to go to Giant Stadium, because I don't call it MetLife. It is Giant Stadium. It's a great time to go. It's fun. You have all the military there. We are a military family, so we always go to these types of events. And you know, it was kind of like the Vikings game when I went with the Venerable James Williams. We're in the suite at the Vikings game. We're at, you know, we are pumped up for the season. We are ready. We have the mimosas. We're ready in the suite to watch the Giants destroy Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. And then kickoff happened. So we're at the game yesterday. We're having a good time. We're in the coaches club. We're hanging out, talking to people, having a couple drinks, having a couple margaritas, having some good time, enjoying some good food. And then kickoff happened. Dun, dun, dun. And well, after that 7-minute opening drive where they just couldn't get off the fucking field, there was no air in the stadium. There was really no air in the stadium before even kickoff. There really wasn't. We have no home field advantage. We have not had home field advantage since the Meadowlands. But there was nowhere. There was no excitement. There was no enthusiasm. You came off the break. You've gone through the doldrums of finally getting rid of Daniel Jones. You got Tommy Cutlets coming in here. You would think there would be this air of excitement. You would think there would be this air of enthusiasm. Nada. It was like we were playing an away game. Not that there was a ton of Tampa fans. Tampa does travel well, and they did have a lot of fans in the stands. But there was no oomph. There was no pizzazz. There was no life. Before I get into Brian Daboll, and I'm going to get to everyone in the chat. I'm going to get to everyone's comments. Before I get into Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, they're not getting fired this week, guys. You're on a short week to Dallas on Thanksgiving. You're not firing anyone. So I'm tired of the stupidity. Tired of the toxicity on Twitter Spaces. I'm tired of the stupidity on Facebook and everything else. You're not firing them this week. You're not gonna fire them on it this week. And honestly, who would you even want to promote? Think about it. Who would you want to promote? But Malik Nabers. Oh, you love the kid. You love the kid's talent. You love his enthusiasm. You love his passion. But he needs to drink a big tall glass to shut the fuck up. That's what he needs to drink right now, because you're a rookie. And for all the pomp and circumstance and how wonderful you think you are, you only have 2 touchdowns and you're only averaging 10 yards of reception. And I believe you have the second most or the first most targets in the entire league. While you may have the moves, while you may look good at times, you haven't done jack shit and Jack left town. So you need to, and for the fact that I was literally at the game, I was there. And I've said this before. He was at times, Malik Nabers, so disinterested. And it looked like in the first drive for even being there, for him to come out and sit there and blast his coaching staff, his teammates for being soft as fuck. You know what? Maybe you need to do a little bit more. This is why we don't unretire numbers to give to a rookie who have done jack shit. I'm sorry. And I like Malik Nabers. I wanted the Giants to draft Malik Nabers. I think Malik Nabers was going to be a great player. And I still think he's going to be a good player, but he needs to know his place. You're a rookie. You are a rookie. And you're going to come out and tell people about your passion and all this and how wonderful you are. Hey, dude, you need to do more on the field before. And listen, I've given him plenty of leeway with the drops and other things. But I'm not going to sit there and have him just bash his entire team when literally, yeah, he wasn't targeted in the first half, but you didn't have the ball much in the first half. And then when you were overly targeted in the second half, you still didn't do much. Here's Malik Nabers' first drive of the game. He is literally standing alone from everyone from the play, waiting. The play is over. He hasn't walked over to his teammates. He hasn't walked over to get back into the huddle. He hasn't done anything. He is just standing there with his feet crossed. This is from the 16th row on the 50-yard line. I took this shot. And I have like 30 other ones just like it. So if you want to be the big dog, you want to be the man, you want to be the Odell Beckham for all of his and I never thought his antics were that much. But for all his alleged antics, he never sat there and literally called out his entire team at times when he's done nothing. At least Odell had put together somewhat of a career, and he was one of the most prolific wide receivers that the Giants had before he turned around and started running his mouth. You and Malik Nabers, who the Giants unretired, not only the first number retired ever by the Giants, but the first number ever retired by NFL history, and handed it to you from doing nothing. This which makes us stupid. This is what makes the Giants look stupider than they are. Not the fact that you went through a bye week, came out flat as fuck, and then and like I said, I think Brian Daboll should be gone. I said this was a 5-win team. And I'm not wearing that. Oh, Acer, you unsubscribed?
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Hey, Acer, fuck off. How about that? How about you drink a big tall glass and shut the fuck up and get the hell out of here? Because no one wants your goddamn opinion anyways, because you're probably too fucking stupid to be a fan. Or you're 12, because if you can't wear another jersey of another team, you're a bigger idiot than I thought you were. So shut up and get the fuck out. Brian Daboll needs to be fired. Joe Schoen needs to be fired. They need to be. You need to clean house. End of season. You're not going to do it in season, guys. Let's just stop the ridiculous shit. Just stop it. Let it run its course. Because you're not going to be any better than a 5-win team. So let it run its course. And let's not worry that Daniel Jones is going to go to a contender. Daniel Jones is going this. I have a friend that's still that work. He's given us information before, and he's given us information that's turned out to be right. He was the one that told us the Giants would draft Andrew Thomas and a whole bunch of other things. And I talked to him this morning because we were just joking around. And I asked him, where's Daniel Jones going to end up? He's like, well, he can end up here and here. He wants to go here, but the Raiders with Minshew and the neck, the collarbone and everything else. But he said the problem with Daniel Jones is he's a backup, and he is what they like to refer to as not a short-term solution, but a solution in moments, because you're only going to get moments out of him, and that's it. And that's what you need to understand when you pick him up. And that's when you need to understand when you put him in the game. So Brian Daboll, who has mismanaged his roster in regards to having an understanding of where he needs to put people in and how he just mismanages everything. Joe Schoen has mismanaged the salary cap, his free agents, his drafts. The organization has let this run wild. And now listen, there is talent on this roster, and I hate when people go, well, they're a 2-win team. That's what they are. Okay, well, you're a fucking moron for saying that. Because there have been plenty of teams in NFL history that only had 4 or 5 wins and went on the next year and won a Super Bowl because of the fact that they just didn't have the season they thought they were going to have. Sometimes talent doesn't mesh. Sometimes talent doesn't come together right. I've said this a million times before. As someone that's followed the NFL since 1976, this is a cut and paste team. We cut and paste different parts from different rosters and the draft that just kind of don't all fit together, or they mirror each other's exact talents, which makes zero sense because, like I said, when you have two defensive ends that they're both predicated on rushing the passer, neither of them can play the run, and you don't have any outside linebackers, why wouldn't every team just continuously run off tackle on you? Why? Why wouldn't they do that? That's a problem right then and there. Problem right off the bat. And you rebuilt the offensive line was terrible yesterday. Poor Tommy DeVito. I thought the poor kid was going to get killed in the first 7 plays. Because the offensive line that held up for Daniel Jones at times and gave Daniel Jones the opportunity to throw was nowhere to be found yesterday. I understand Tampa has aggressive defense. Tampa is a playoff team that's a 4. Here's an example. This team is 4-6? This is a team that is better than their record. Their talent says that. I didn't jokingly. I was saying the other day, now that Daniel Jones is gone, I feel like I can leave YouTube. I feel like I can walk away. I feel like I've done what I've needed to done for what I needed to do for the last 5 years. That goal is done because I was the lone bastion of sanity in reference to Daniel Jones within the craziness of the Twitter space and YouTube and content creators and everything. I was that bastion of hope. Well, now here's the problem. You got so many idiots out there now who were on this Daniel Jones train, who were on the Joe Schoen train or on the Brian Daboll train that have broken their ankles jumping off the train, jumping off the wagon. You now need me even more to balance out the idiocy. I want to hear what you people got to say. Let's try to go to the top here because Mr. Bruce is the first one right here. I'll record the poor play for the worst 15-yard chance if I get to play on the channel. You want to play on the channel? What? What's up, Mr. Bruce? Mr. Bruce, you can always come on. Poor. I play poor for Ward. I forgot about that. Pimp things. Like Barkley is literally a top 3 MVP candidate right now. We have footage of cocky Joe Schoen laughing about losing him. The clip should be at his exit interview. Good riddance. Rick says, clean these 2 clowns out, but they will hire the right people. Shaking my head. Jordan Majors says, it's funny people say you don't pay a running back big money, yet they ignore that. You probably should have paid a bad quarterback big money either. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't pay a quarterback who had one average season of 3,000 yards. I love the people that post the passing stats of Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones and go, well, they're almost the same. Yeah, but they also forget to mention the 1,000 extra rushing yards and the 45 extra rushing touchdowns that Jalen Hurts has over Daniel Jones, but that's okay. Rick says, I feel sorry for Tim having to be at that damn game. Yeah, it was bad. It was not good. I was not happy. James Stein says, well, that's that. The Giants have quit on the season, let alone yesterday's game. Could have seen it from the first snap to the last snap. They totally be embarrassment. Time for Merritt to clean house. You know what's funny in the coaches club? They used to have, and I didn't really notice it this year, they used to have Howard Cross doing a post game in the coaches club. There's a stage, and he would go up there and he would do a post game. He'd do a wrap up. Sometimes have a player come in, and he did that last year. James kind of got into a tiff a little bit. James Williams kind of got into a tiff a little bit with Howard Cross. They're not doing it this year. There is no post game in the coaches club anymore. I didn't really notice that until someone brought it to my attention yesterday. Fire these clowns right when the season ends. That's what's up. Walla. Anyone that's upset about yesterday is delusional. What was the honestly expecting? If Jones sucked, the backups are worse. Next year's a new down start. Good thing. Kobe says, what's up? Hello, Tim. How you doing? I'm doing terrible, my brother. I'm doing terrible. Rick says, Daboll lost room. Hell, the front office has lost every player as well. 100%. Protect and serve says start again is what we need. I'm tired of this crap, man. KTS said, what was that? Was that the game yesterday? The Giants had the laughingstock lead because of Ho Shanes. Ho needs to be fired today. They're not going to fire him, but you were at the game. You understand what I'm talking about. There was a full house, but there was no advantage. There was no crowd noise. There was nothing. It was like a mausoleum. And then when the defense couldn't get off the field from the first drive, you knew it was over. Let's see here. Got that nice jersey. I know I like my Barkley jersey. After Saquon rushing for 255, I'd fire the hoe and promote Brandon Brown. I would promote Brandon Brown. I really would. Mo Dick says, you knew it was a massive mistake in real time when they decided to pay Dan Jones instead of Saquon Barkley. You have to go back to that. You really do. You have to go back to that 2 years ago. And I talk about it all the time. I did a video right after the contract was signed, And I said, this is going to set the team back 5 years. And everyone told me what a great deal was. They got it out after 2 years. And I said, yeah, it don't fucking matter, though. Because you're pushing the clock back 5 years. Said it once before. If he had a bad season in 2023, you were going to give him 2024. So that's 2 years. You draft a quarterback in 2005. You hope the quarterback starts maturing in 2006, and then you're good in 2007. That's 5 years. But I don't know what I'm talking about. The Lions should have unretired number one. Neighbors shaking my head. Off the field, antics are worse than Odell. I'm sick of the team. I live near Camden, New Jersey, and I'm now thinking about becoming an Eagles fan. Yeah, I'm not an Eagles fan. I just like wearing the jersey to piss people off. Down the mound says, since 1970, Giants have played on Thanksgiving days, 1982, 1990, 09, 17, 22. 3 of those seasons involved head coaches being fired. I did not know that. Neighbors is right. 100%, but he is a rookie. Knock, knock, who's there? Not you, because you have done shit. And maybe it's because I'm an old timer. Maybe it's because when I played, in college, you actually had to do something on the field before you could run your mouth. And you as a rookie calling out your team, your other players, if you were back in the 80s, you would have gotten an attitude adjustment as soon as you hit the locker room on Monday. He needs an attitude adjustment. He really does. Mally says, good morning, Thibodeau BBM family. I think we are nearing the end of Schoen and Daboll. Thank God. Wow. One is sulking already. Please, not another prima donna. Yeah, you're right. Mr. Alvarez says, letting multiple players walk away, overpaying Daniel Jones. Now the doofy fuck is going, and the doofy fuck is gone, and the team has no one. Also laughing in Mara's face. He said he wanted to keep Saquon. Joe would have been gone. No one talks about the fact about Xavier McKinney. We should have kept Xavier McKinney. What did Xavier McKinney do? He's got 7 interceptions, had the big one yesterday, sealed the game, helping Green Bay Packer go to the playoffs. Whatever. We don't need him. It would be a good idea to trade Tibbs and Neal for draft capital. I think we mentioned that. Next GM and next head coach can turn into this team run. I'm going to say it right now, and I've said it a million times. We should have fucking hired Brian Flores. Before they hired Joe Schoen, I said, you need a hard-nosed, defensive-minded coach who has had coaching experience who doesn't take shit. He doesn't have to be liked by the players. He doesn't have to be loved. It may be a short 3-4 year thing if he doesn't win. But even when Miami traded all their players, all Brian Flores did was win. That's all he did. But instead, we go into the hot coordinator rankings. What's up says, what makes the Giants look really stupid is Schoen didn't want to pay $140 million quarterback, handing off to a $12 million running back. That quarterback is now gone, and the running back just went up for over 300 yards. Tell him exactly how you feel, Tim. You know what? I'm not today. You know what it is? Protect and serve. Not today. Not today is not. I'm going to give everyone that's new to this channel and wants to say something stupid. Today is not the day. All right. This is your warning. I don't usually give people warning because I've always believed in swift and blinding violence, but this is your warning. Today is not the day. I agree they both need to go, but how can Mara Tisch get this wrong so many times? It's unreal because Mara is not a football guy. Tisch is not a football guy. The guys that they have in this organization that are family members are not football guys. That's how they do it. Giants are a rudderless ship, no direction. We have proven that already. What's up, Mr. Chaz? Jalen Jones isn't going anywhere except maybe Vegas because they literally have no quarterbacks available. That's the only thing I think he's going. I have reached my breaking point with this team already, says Mike. Everything is broken. This is a 2-win team. Maybe beats Philly at week 18 because they are resting their starters. 2-15, maybe 3. I still think they're a 5-win team. I still think you can get to 5 wins. I do. Trade everyone. Dex, Kayvon, Neal, Nabers, and then Burns. Don't forget about Andrew Thomas. Let's see. Frank, what's up, Frank? Hey, Tim, God bless. I'm still thinking of renewing my season. Are you still thinking of renewing your season tickets now that you know the new starting quarterback is promised for 2025? I saw Kayvon Thibodeau. I will give you this. Kayvon Thibodeau gave effort early. He truly gave effort early. From there, it went all downhill. And the man says to Bruce, last time we did that was pretty Coughlin 2004. Worked out pretty good. Nathan says, calm down with the overreaction on Daboll. If DJ was your best quarterback, do you really think that would happen? I truly don't believe Daboll has the power to change certain roster changes at will. That's what I'm saying. You can't fire Daboll now. But it looks like Daboll has lost the locker room. It really does. Mr. Taz says, if in Daboll's defense, he has an offensive coach, but there was little on the offensive side. High-end talent really sits on the defense, which isn't exactly in their wheelhouse. You're right. You're not wrong. Isaiah Rogers. What's up, Mr. Rogers? Good morning, Tim. And this is Tim. The good is a new GM can pick his own quarterback and head coach, I hope. Giants guy says, you keep making mistakes to like all other Giant fans that are going to the games. I've been a season ticket holder. My family's been a season ticket holder since 1976. I've met the likes of Bill Parcells. I've met the likes of Wellington Mara. You know, I literally at one dinner event in New York with Tom Coughlin, Judy Coughlin stole my son when he was a baby. Didn't steal. She didn't steal him. She asked to hold him, and I said, "Sure, you can hold him." And then she kind of walked away, was talking to other people, and she was still holding them. And I laughed because my wife comes back to the table and goes, "Where's our kid?" I was like, "Oh, Judy Coughlin's got her." So don't worry. We'll trade him for a Super Bowl ring. I just saw Barkley's game stats against the Rams. Wow. And if you would have went to bed at the first half, there was no way you would have woke up this morning and think Barkley had 255 yards, 302 total, and 2 touchdowns. Can anyone defend Daboll? Give me any positive besides the excuses he's eating through his Ozempic. So I guess that's not a positive. I keep telling Giants fans, stop going to the games. I'm not going to the games. I have to go to the Ravens game because we're doing a party. Not really doing a party. Swing Culture TV was going to go to the game with some of his friends. Then I kind of invited myself, and then I invited T-Brat and his wife, and Chris for the Love of MMA, and James Williams and his girlfriend, and Big L and his wife, and the next thing you know, I'm calling it the OBB Christmas party. So I have to go for that game. G-Man says, Tim, you were right, but you knew we were going into the season. The team wasn't good. Daboll taking Jones to the playoffs is insane, but I like to see what he can do with talent. That said, Shane's got to go. Anthony says, I nominate Tim for the GM. I always joke. I always say there's no way I would. I always, because I know it's true. I would never be able to be a GM on an NFL team. But after watching Joe Shane become one, I'm like, how bad can I fuck shit up? I'm throwing my hat in the ring. And I have a 2005 Ford F-150 outside. Big old, big block V8. I'm going to become the GM, roll that into the stadium so all the neophytes that are on Twitter and everything else can look at me and go, wow, that Tim, he's just a guy coming in here to work. Kind of like what happened with Brian Dale. We saw what happened there. Oh my God. It only took him the first draft to know Shane was going to suck as a GM. I never want him in the first place. Ron Wad says, I'm hearing the same fans saying that if Daniel Jones played yesterday, it wouldn't have happened. I heard that too. You know what's the stupidest thing I've ever heard? Because if you compare Tommy DeVito's stats to what Daniel Jones' stats have been the last 10 weeks, they're almost identical. The problem is the damn defense couldn't get off the field. Peach Mayor, Shane can't be trusted without this next draft. What do we got? What am I going there? Okay. Down the Mound says, you don't get Daboll without Shane. People are forgetting that. You're right. You're 100% right. I never forget that. Nathan Clark says, Daboll took a bad team in the playoffs and schemed us up for a playoff win. He won 6 games in a terrible season where Joe Shane committed malpractice with his hurt O-line, getting all the quarterbacks hurt. Nathan, I agree and I disagree. 7-2, 2-5-1. They don't miss the field goal in Tennessee. You are now 6-3. You don't get those 2 interceptions called back and don't stop the Jacksonville Jaguars. You are now 5-4. And I think it was the Washington game that if we didn't, yeah, I agree, but I agree, but I disagree. When I saw those I saw the fans of Giants Stadium, I was shaking my head, said they're when are they going to learn? It was salute to service today. It was also a salute in the military. Let's see. What do you expect? We have to tank it. Everyone knows that Daboll and Shane are gone as well. That's clear to me. Last year, Mara guarantees their jobs. This year, well, you just had enough. No, he guarantees their jobs about 3 weeks ago. Mr. Weaver says, what's going on at Tim? Hoping you have your morning coffee. It's sad to know how far the Giants mainly have 1 year, can be set back literally 6 to 7 years, literally cleaning house. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. So that's another thing. If you're new to the chat and you're going to say something stupid, just let you know I haven't had my coffee either. So that's and I spent all day in a bad Giant game. So yeah, I'm not in the best moods. No, but I have new Bass Sporting Shop has a exclusive coffee from Black Rifle, 2 types, and the nearest one from here is in Atlantic City, so I actually had them ship me some coffee, and I think it's supposed to be here this afternoon. Cortez said, how easily would it have been to backload Saquon's contract if he didn't sign for the amount he did with the Eagles? He could have had Barkley and a new line and he could have gave Barkley, like the Eagles did, a large chunk of money in reference to the bonus. I'm not even going to get into the stupidity of Joe Shane. Now people are upset that Daboll, after Joe gutted most of the talent. I'm not upset with Daboll, but he's lost the locker room. The team did not play hard. The team, after that first series, that 70-minute drive where they couldn't get him off the field, when they couldn't figure out a way to stop Bucky Irving, where they couldn't figure out a way just to contain Baker Mayfield, they gave up. They literally gave up. Todd says, we are only a decade away from being good. Well, maybe not a decade. It's 5 years. Should we let DJ go talk to teams? Not Saquon, shaking his head. We'll never be the same. David says, Tim, you were the first to point out Shane's shortcoming. I've watched several content creators. You're always first, and you're the ones to point out the Shane's boneheaded moves. Love you, dude. David, I love you too, man, but I'm going to take credit. Normally, I don't take credit. But someone sent me clips. I think it's a young Giant guy, 69 or 79 or 89. He sent me clips from old shows talking about Joe Shane, talking about everything else. And he put together a nice montage of things that I've said. Now, if I was an egomaniac, it's like 11 minutes long. I would release the 11 minutes. I think I will still, because I am an egomaniac. Let's not lie. No, I'm just cocky and arrogant. But I'm thinking about doing it because it's weird because I love when people go, I don't watch your show because you're always wrong. And then then I listen and I go back and I see these other people like, I watch your show because you're like right like 90% of the time. And it doesn't have anything to do with me being omnipotent. It has to do with the fact that it's called just football sense. You take the fandom out of shit and it's a lot easier to have football sense. But thank you, David. Ron Wallen says, it's crazy neither Saquon or DJ are on this team. It is nuts. A question. I like questions. Taz, do you think the top end, what do you think that with the top end, at least with the running back, will there be a resurgence in value? No. Tyrone Tracy is a good running back at the 4th round pick. But the problem is this, you could see that he's a wide receiver playing running back because he fumbles all the time. Which was funny though, because Charles Way was at the was at the game yesterday, and we was talking to him, and someone had asked him about how we used to carry the ball because Charles Way carried the ball weird, but he never really fumbled. And I was talking to him about Tyrone Tracy, and he's like, he's got to figure out his own way how to carry. You can coach it the right way, but you have to feel comfortable the way you're carrying it. The way he used to carry it, Charles Way, looked weird, but it was comfortable for him to do that. What's Todd said? Cutlass proved again yesterday. The stupid contract does. Tommy sucks, but he put up the exact same numbers. Derps even when getting hammered into the turf. Oh my God. I thought he wasn't first series. I thought he wasn't getting up because he got his head slammed into the turf. RDF, what's up, brother? Saquon, was he Barkley and McKinney leading the league in rushings and INTs? Joe must go. Brown is a highly regarded in the NFL circus. Promote him. If Flores will come, coach, I know Flores is suing us, but I would go hat in hand back to Brian Flores and say, could you please come here and help us with this fucking mess? Neighbors is right, but he needs to shut up. The locker room should shut him. Although, if we had any leadership in this locker room, yeah, someone would sit Malik Nabers down and explain to him the pecking order. And then explain to him, listen, we drafted you to save a guy's career. You didn't fucking do it because he's not on the team anymore. And he force-fed you the ball like a fat kid eating a ham. And you didn't do it. I would sit Neighbors on Thanksgiving too. Giants guys, Mara, the Giants right off don't care about being laughing stocks of the league. They care about finding ways the Giants fans full of the yeah. But you're right. G-Man says we have earned the right to be vocal like any other job on the runway. Candidates for the Rookie of the Year. Shane on leak for telling the truth. Yeah, what was he? Valiant stances are big. Mara is the biggest problem for the Giants. He doesn't want louders in the locker room. He wants soft, quiet boys, and the result is losing seasons. I agree and I disagree because right now we don't have choir boys, and you have some guys that are Malik Nabers, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal. You got guys that are being vocal, but the problem is the guys that are being vocal aren't playing well enough to be vocal. Jared says, I don't think not paying Saquon was a disaster. Really paying Jones was the obvious mistake. Tyrone Tracy looks good and's got to stop fumbling. He's got to figure out how to hold that fucking ball. We got Pimp Name Slick back with the super chat. I don't know if Shane can really draft better. I don't know if Shane really drafted better than Dave Gettleman. No, he didn't. Shane's early claim to fame was signing Gettleman guys. Think about that. He signed Lawrence, Barkley at one point in time, Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas. And then the guys he let go away, Julian Love, Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram. Are we seeing a pattern in Xavier McKinney? Gettleman, for his faults, was not bad at drafting. Gettleman, his faults, was bad at salary cap management and what you call it? Salary cap management and drafting free agents. So, I mean, yeah, I saw someone that says, whoa, Charles Way. Yeah, Charles Way was, Charles Way was fun. It was funny. It was Charles Way and Hakeem Nicks. So it was great. Sean Williams was there, the old safety, and Jeff Eagles was there too. So like I said, I had a good time until the game started. It's like every other Giant game. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about just going to the Giant game and leaving at 12:49. Hanging out, drinking some beer, doing my shit in the parking lot, going in, getting my free food, going outside, 12:40 up. Honey, it's 12:49. We gotta go. Giants are starting. We gotta get the fuck out of here. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's see here. You have earned the right to be vocal like any. Yes, thank you. I already read that one. Jared says, I don't think anyone not paying Saquon was disaster. Yeah, we got that one too. Slap that like button, says Razzle the Great. Thank you. Where are we at? Likewise, got 124 people, 240 something, including Twitter. We have 26 likes. We should have 50 likes by my math. Might have to be a Green Bay Packer fan for the rest of the season. I have my Xavier McKinney jersey. McKinney 7 interceptions. The Giants 1. Carlton says if Daniel Jones signs with the team today and goes and balls out, the Giants will fire everyone. I don't see that happening. I mean, he's going to sign with someone's going to sign him. He wants to go to a playoff team, which makes sense because he was a wreck for the New York Giants for 6 years, and he wants to go somewhere where he can be in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, it makes a lot of fucking sense. It only makes me hate him a little bit more. Hire Flores. I would hire Flores, but he's suing the Giants still. Mike Tannenbaum back from the Jets as the GM. Will Mike you know what? Tannenbaum has brought in talent. But the question is, he hasn't found anyone that can really harness the talent. Biggest issue is Mara. He wants to go. Oh, we got that one. You noticed that everyone is saying that Mara, that's the whole point of the whole debacle. Mara had his hands over and just sits back and right there and fucking checks to wanted DJ to sign. Then he releases him. I love that Mara does get blamed. But and I know I understand that he runs the football operations and Tish runs the business operations. I think it's time for that to reverse. Tim, the Giants are disgraced. There's players are disgraced, losing 30-7 and calling timeouts. What a clown show. Bill Belichick, you're watching here. Belichick's not coming there. Over under 6 points on Thanksgiving Day. Well, you know, the sell your ticket. I love it. Sell your tickets. The Giants, I'm going to give them 14. Because the Cowboys suck as well. Bro, what's up, Mr. Broadenow? Good morning, Tim. I just started a part-time job, Weatherville in Jackson, Mississippi this week. Let me know when you want me to give the forecast again. No, because last time you gave the forecast, the Giants won. Razzle the Great says we have a top 2 pick as of this morning. Let's go for the tank. But yeah, we'll discuss that. I do need to have you back on. We do need some weather reports. I need a Dallas weather report. Fire him. Great teams still suck it. It won't make them suck. Fire him, great. Yeah, okay. Fire him, great. Team still sucks. You're right. Antonio Weaver says, can we agree that the DC is done after this year? What a rush hire when Dex doesn't fit your system. There's a problem. I hated the Shane Bowen hire. You could have waited a week and had it a guy from the 49ers that could come in here and I think coach extremely well. But I have to give Shane Bowen credit that he tried to develop a system. He did not try to take his system from the Tennessee Titans and make the Giant players fit into that system. He tried to tailor his system to the players he had. It just doesn't work because you just have this weird collection of talent. We kind of ignored the CB2 position. While Tyler Nubin has looked good as a safety, we kind of ignore it. We kind of need a real polished safety. We don't have any outside. He came in day one. We've talked about this. Shane Bowen, day one, in the meeting. That's why Hard Knocks is the worst thing in the world for the Giants. In the meeting with his entire staff, with Joe Schoen, with Brian Daboll. Joe Schoen, what do you need to make your defense successful? Shane Bowen, two linebackers, and a defensive tackle. Then there's Joe Schoen. What about Brian Burns? No, we were never a defensive end away from being good. Bowen was right. For his system to work and play rookies, we needed 2 linebackers and another defensive tackle. He wasn't wrong. So I can't sit there and blame Shane Bowen completely. I mean, he's certain people say, well, Daboll's only working with what he has. Same with Brian Bowen. Mr. Rouse, thank God Shane didn't stagger and Thomas Lawrence contract. I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm done talking about that. I'm done, dog. I was again the first one that mentioned why he didn't stagger the Lawrence Thomas contracts. Why he gave them both at the same time makes zero fucking sense. Going back to the Logan Ryan shit. He only saved $600,000 in that Logan Ryan release, but he ate like millions of dollars. Yeah, cap. And I'm just not even going to get into it again. I'm not even going to get into it again. Hung Day says, "Hey Tim, just join the stream. Do you think that Joe Dumbass and Daboll are the last of the rest? I think they're done. Unless there's a turnaround, they're done. Neighbors giving the OBJ vibe with all them. Neighbors is giving me the vibe that he just needs to stop. Hit the like button, says Big James. What happens if Neighbors request a trade? Are we going to trade him?" I jokingly said the day Malik Nabers got drafted, somebody asked me on a stream, when do you think Malik Nabers will ask for a trade? I said the third quarter in game 3. So I was a little off. Did Saquon win the MVP yet? Assume, Big James. Someone tell Malik if Daniel Jones couldn't get him the ball, there's no hope with Danny Nuggets. Mike LaMela can be the GM. You got to take a shot. Well, I don't know. I just want an experienced guy to come in here. Todd said we should have traded Neighbors. He never wanted to be drafted here. The team is years away. He's just going to get worse. Shane says, so DJ out. Does Cam and Stafford idea seem out of grasp or bad idea? Matthew Stafford is owed way too much money to come here. You still owe Daniel Jones 22 million. Now, if you do a post June 1st, you can cut that over 2 years. You can have 11 in each year, but you still got him on the you still got to you just can't bring in Stafford's $50 million unless you're gonna rework the contract. But then that's just a big mistake. We should trade Casper, aka Kayvon Thibodeau, while his ghost stock is high. After James after yesterday, I don't think his ghost stock is very high. Alexander says, if I was a GM, I would have gave Barkley $15 million in 2022. I let him hit the free agent, spend big on the offensive line. Media outlets say the Giants disrespected Daniel Jones, but has Daniel Jones disrespected them? There was no disrespect for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones sucked. Plain and simple. Daniel Jones sucked like a whore on Saturday night. Sorry to be vulgar. He did. Funny how everyone wanted to fire Joe Schoen and tell Mayer to sell the team for the delusion the majority of Giant fans wanted. The hypocrisy. That's the other thing. It's the hypocrisy of this fan base. When we got rid of Daniel Jones, all the Daniel Jones lovers were now like, well, now we got to let Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen cook. Now we got to see what they can do. Now, after yesterday, they all want to get rid of him. I'm pretty sure too many other teams noticed Kayvon Thibodeau has no heart to get value out of him. Mark Stewart says, hey, Tim, missed you. Yeah, you did miss me. I texted you. I said, where? I didn't text you. I sent you a DM. I said, where the hell you at? Sitting at the game. What's up, brother? Let's see. Mr. Hartman says, I can't even watch this team play anymore this season. I will follow scores. Someone wake me up when Shane and Daves get fired or it's draft time. Mr. Alvin says, don't forget that the Lions Seahawks were behind the Giants in the playoffs hunt in 2022, but they had the tiebreakers. If the Titans hadn't missed a field goal, we would have missed the playoffs altogether. I know. If we would have lost the Titan game, and if we would have lost the Jacksonville game, like we probably should have, but the NFL gods did not allow us, we would be 7-9-1. Yesterday was excruciating to watch. That's a good way to put it. Kobe says, well, what would you tell Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll and John? What would you tell Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, and Steve Tisch? I think a lot of people forget about Steve Tisch. And like I said, he is a 50% owner. So we need to lump him in with the garbage that is this team. And I would if I was there and I had an opportunity to talk to all of them, I would tell them.
I want to tell them what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Tim, I wouldn't disagree that if Mara wanted to get rid of Schoen and Daboll, I mean, being labeled soft by a rookie, it's the truth. That could mean firing. Losing is never a good thing. They could get fired. Here's my problem with him saying that they're soft. Here's my biggest problem. You need to lump yourself into that. I gave you a break when you were in concussion protocol, then went to a concert because it was at the stadium. And everyone with concussion has different symptoms. I gave you a break. I gave you a break on the drops. I've given you a break on so many things because of the quarterback play and everything else. And you were sitting there and you did not throw your teammates under the bus. I didn't give you a break when they unretired the number, but it has to do more with the franchise. What you also asked. I gave you a break then. I cannot give a break to a rookie who has 600 yards receiving, who've missed games, who has had drops, for calling out his teammates. I can't give you that. I'm sorry. As much as I would love to, I just can't do that. Because of the fact that you have, yes, Malik Nabers with his 67 receptions. Okay, great. But if we take a look at the rest of your stats, you are not sitting there. I mean, what's his name? Brock Bowers has more receptions, has 74 receptions over in LA. Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., what's his name? Roma Zude and Marvin Harrison, while they don't have the number of receptions that you do, they're all averaging more yards. They all have more touchdowns, and they're all just playing better than you are. Brock Bowers, 744. Brian Thomas Jr., 686. Malik Nabers, 671. Ladd McConkey, 615. And then you have Zuda at 518. You have Marvin Harrison at 546. And Keenan Coleman is hurt. You have 417. Okay? And all of them have not been targeted nearly as much as you have. Harrison, 6 touchdowns. Thomas, 5. Leggett, 4. Conkey, 4. Worthy, 4. Bowers, 3. Get in the end zone, dude. Like I said, I've given you so many breaks, but I'm done. I'm done. You are the last dragon. You possess the power of the glow. When you reach that upper level, your mind, body, and soul must be one. It's a sacrifice. Sorry, I see Last Dragon in the room. Let's see here. Boo, boo, boo. I got lost here in the chat. I'm lost in the chat. Let's see. Protects says Jones wanted to go to the playoff team and ruin that. Yeah, he wants to go to the playoff team and ruin their shit for them. Hey, GM Tim, I love Tyron Tracy, but it's getting to the point where he has to touch. When he touches the ball, I'm hoping he doesn't fumble, and that worries me. Oh, I get scared. And you got to get scared when he runs. Because he does run with power. He does run with decisiveness. He runs with purpose. The only problem is he doesn't run with fluidity at times in reference to holding on to the ball. And he needs to understand a little bit more about the intricacies of going into the pile with the football. But he was a wide receiver that converted himself at the last year in college to running back because that's how he knew he was going to get drafted. James Williams says Schoen has been our best coach if he would have looked things fairly. Defense has kept us in many games. What about Brian Burns? Is never not funny. Yeah, I do enjoy that. Hard Knocks was the best thing for the New York Giants because the blind faith fans saw how bad Schoen is a GM. No, because they're pretty stupid. I remember you saying that, Tim. I don't remember what I said, but I must have said something good. I love Baker's new celebration. It was pretty funny. Baker Mayfield's celebration. Also, Tim, if someone kept Saquon or McKinney, they would have signed. We could have signed Runyon and Ellimore. Yes. Here's something funny. Here's a funny fact. You don't go and trade for Brian Burns. You don't give up a 2, 5, and a 7 for the same player you got on the other side of the line and wearing number 5. You're able to save Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney and still have money. I know. It's crazy. Let's see here. Morning, Tim and OBB. Hate that darn work meeting watching from the beginning. Tank is on. That's all right there. You got to work, man. No disrespect. We have no leadership traits. No one has leadership traits on this team. I agree 100%. Last Dragon all says, I have no problem with Neighbors calling out Dave's, but the way he was chewing that gum pissed me off. Malik Nabers was I'm telling you, this is the first drive of the game. Malik Nabers is literally sitting there tapping his toes. He's not running towards the play. He's not running back to the huddle. He's literally standing there tapping his toes. And I'm watching this going, and I was like, well, I'm going to take a picture of this, but by the time I get my camera out, to get the phone out and take the picture, he's probably not going to be there anymore. No, he was still there. Bowers is better than Neighbors. You're right. Cam Ward, here we come. You're right. This may be Neighbors for the Giants. What would you do when to turn this around? You know what? If it's me, Mr. McCormick, what's going on? I fire everybody at the end of the season. I bring in an experienced general manager, and I go spend a lot of money on a real head coach. Let's see here. Hey, Neighbors, if you want the ball. Hey, Neighbors, you want to catch the ball? Motherfucker, don't get injured. What's up, Joe Rev? Looks like we made it. Top tip for Tyron Tracy. High and tight. Do a little bit of a Tiki Barber. Amen, James Williams. You are right on. Holy shit. I had no idea Neighbors was doing that, because this is the thing that and Strider, I'm not pointing you out. And I don't want you to think I don't want you to think I'm pointing you out. I'm going to put the link in the chat of James and everyone's around. I'm not pointing you out, but I'm saying this. So many people, you don't see everything on TV. And I try to explain this to people all the time, especially people that do film breakdowns. I'm going to use that system, but I can do a film breakdown and show you everything that's going on. There is a difference between watching on TV and being at the game. There were so many times that we would watch games and Daniel Jones wasn't the quarterback, and people would be like, "Well, nobody was open, nobody's been open," and that was the other thing with Daniel Jones. Nobody's open, and I would tell people, I'm at the game, and especially even in the Minnesota game, James and I are at the game, and we're literally watching players wide open. We saw Jalen Hyatt by himself streaking down the sideline. We would see other players wide open down the middle of the field, and Daniel Jones would throw a 3-yard out. You don't see everything when you watch on TV. And that's why I always tell people, you really want to get a perspective. And that's why I laugh at content creators that steal all these super chats and everything else who live in the New York area who don't go to games. Put your money where your mouth is. Put up or shut up. Because you see more than you ever would see. But of course, then they don't want to go get games because if they can stream the game, they can make money that way. I understand. It's like we always say, it's never about the fans. It's always about the money. But literally, you see everything on the field. And where I sit, it's a perfect vantage point. See everything. There was a point in the Joe Judge era, and I called this out because I thought it was very high school, because I'd never seen this on an NFL sideline. And I've been on NFL sidelines in Tampa, in Jacksonville, for the Giants, for the Eagles. And when I played, I've never seen this before. And it was under Joe Judge. I haven't seen this since high school. They literally had the offense and the defense segregated. You used to do that in high school and at Pop Warner. They were literally, and there was almost like a divide on the bench. And one side was the offense and one side was the defense. And I laughed because then there was Daniel Jones standing in the corner. I showed a picture of that. But I was laughing because I was like, that's so Pop Warner. And that shows me there's no continuity on the team, that you are causing a divide. I want to know what love is. I'm watching James Williams drink water at work.
What up?
Not much.
What up, Saquon? What up, chat?
Do a little Heisman.
You might as well. The way he's playing.
Yeah, we don't need a league MVP on this team.
I know. Don't you just love the people who are like, well, I don't think letting go of Saquon was the problem. I think signing Jones. It's like, no, I think they were both problems. How about that?
Yeah. The one problem was you signed Jones, so you had to let go of Saquon.
What, it's like the guy's literally saving the Eagles season, but it's like we don't need that guy. It's like Jesus Christ.
Well, it was funny because I was watching the first half and he had like 65 yards. And then I came back like mid fourth quarter. I was like, no, that could be right. You can't have almost 255 yards.
I was watching, I sent out a tweet at one point, he had more rushing yards than Jalen had passing yards, but they were still up double digits.
Yeah.
I was like, how many times has he had more rushing yards than Jones had passing yards? And we were losing.
There are 4 games this year that I could say for certainty the Eagles do not win without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, seriously. Probably one more.
As we talk about the 2022 season with the Giants, we've said it before. There are 4 games the Giants do not win that year without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, like it's amazing how good that guy really is. Like I always knew he was nice, but watching him with a team with a quarterback that actually has weapons and knows how to use them, oh my God, it's like.
But here's the best thing: they didn't have Devontae Smith. You got Dobson on the one side outside of AJ Brown, whatever his name, AJ Brown. Thank you. But I keep calling AJ Green. But you got him outside of AJ Brown. That's it.
But that's all you need. If you have a quarterback that teams know he will actually get the ball down the field, and you have a receiver that will actually catch it, Malik, then an offensive line, that actually blocks. I mean, that's all you really need. Like, people are overcomplicating. It's like the thing I say about Jello. Don't complicate Jello. Just add water and stir and put it in the fridge. It's like, it's very simple. You know, like the Malik thing. It's like, well, it's on the coaching. That's Daboll. It's like, Malik, if Daniel Jones couldn't get you the ball, I don't think our third stringer, Tommy Nuggets, is going to be able to get you the ball like that. Just hang on and wait till next year.
What do you think about the Malik Nabers comments?
I think we kind of like sorry, PA going off, but kind of like a guy who, if you spoil your girl, or let's say a girl you first started dating, not even your girlfriend, you spoil her. All right, if you spoil her, after a while, she's gonna get used to that. And I think the problem that happened with Malik is that we gave him the Jesus complex because we made him feel like he was going to be the savior. And you know, there was all this, Malik's the guy and he's going to come. It's like, first of all, you don't think Malik watched Hard Knocks? He's a young guy. You don't think he watched Hard Knocks with his boys? You know, so he watched Hard Knocks. He said, oh, yeah, you're the man. I'm pretty sure Jaden was telling him, like, hey, man, you're going there to save the New York Giants. You are the savior. You're Black Jesus. And, you know, turns out Black Jesus, but his apostles suck. Daniel Jones sucks. Tommy DeVito sucks. So
first of all, we shouldn't have religious connotations on the show. He was Black. He was Black Santa.
Okay, he was Black Santa, and his elves don't know how to work the workshop.
Mr. Bruce is just sitting there laughing.
Oh,
at least he got a Miami Heat jersey on this time.
I do, and not only do I have a Miami Heat jersey.
Is that LeBron?
It is.
Oh, well, you know what?
That's funny.
There's only one GOAT, and he wore 23.
Oh man,
he wore 23.
I can't.
Oh God, we don't have time to start that argument now.
23.
We can, yeah, that can be a whole. But you know, I had to wear this because you know, you came with the Fire jersey, so I got to come with the Fire jersey as well. So you know,
there you go. No, it's better than the last one.
Well, yeah, I got you. I agree with everything that James is saying. What's good, King James?
What up, King James?
But
go ahead. What do you think about the Malik situation and the fact that he's turning into a diva a little bit already?
I mean, even though he's turning into a diva, it's kind of, and I said the same thing with like Odell. It was kind of understandable because when you have a quarterback that isn't really getting you the ball, and he's getting frustrated, like I understand why he's getting upset, but he does need to shut up, and he does need to, you know, like keep it on the, like he needs to stop.
But Odell didn't really become the problem, which I never saw him being a problem, but he never really became the problem until like year 4. And by then he was already one of the most prolific wide receivers the Giants have ever had. So at that time, you have put in your work. You have the chops now to speak, but you got a guy with 600 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, who is targeted the second most in the entire league, and he is sitting there not helping his team. He is spouting off at his organization, and you were brought in to save the quarterback. You were brought in
save the sentence.
You didn't do your motherfucking job saving the quarterback because he's going to be on another team in probably a week.
If he's lucky.
But, okay, yeah. No, I get that. I just don't know if Daniel Jones was the person to be saved because what did J. Cole say? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
She don't want to be saved.
No doubt he's not the person to be saved. No doubt whatsoever. We've said this on the show that the Giants went against all NFL conventional wisdom. We preached this since the draft. Drafted a guy to save a quarterback. The quarterback to save everyone else. You know, I've never in the history of I've never seen that before in my entire life. I've been bitching about it for how long? Since the draft.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's one reason why, when one of the comments that I put was, because Giant fans are like, oh, why are you so up in arms? Because you were right, yeah, and it's like, but here's the thing,
Because we
at
heard for
the
years we were wrong.
right, and
For
at the
6 years.
and at the time when we were telling people, yo, Daniel Jones sucks. How many people said we were haters? We weren't Giant fans. Yo, I got called a Pigeons fan because I once said that Daniel Jones sucks. Now look at where the Giants are. It's like the hypocrisy of this fan base to once stand on, like, okay, well, if you stood with Daniel Jones, and it's like
Then you're
he's shown,
stupid.
exactly, he's shown who he is from year one.
just say
He
what it is.
came out of Duke. This isn't basketball. You know what I'm saying? He came from Duke. Like, and you paid that man $160 million. Well, it just,
You know,
Tim.
you know what's funny? James, he's making a lot of noise back there.
Oh, so sorry.
Kind of mute you for a second. What's funny is this: everyone's saying, "Well, Malik Nabers doesn't have a quarterback." What's his name? Brock Bowers. Who is he playing with? And with L.A. I mean Vegas. Who's he playing?
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, not even playing with Minshew anymore. And Minshew's been in and out of the lineup now, and now Minshew's got the cracked collarbone. But somehow Brock Bowers has 744 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr., who is playing in Jacksonville, and their quarterbacks are not having a good years at all, has 689 yards and 5 touchdowns. All more than the Golden Boy that doesn't have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Donations to receiving.
I got to clean up in aisle 6. I got to clean up in aisle.
Oh man, you guys are funny.
But it's just weird that you have a guy that's got the second most targets in the league, complaining that he's not getting the ball.
Yeah, and then you got to watch the tape and realize Malik Nabers is open, and he's not getting the ball, not because of him not being open. He's not getting the ball because your quarterback fucking sucks. But
well, it could be like Stanley says, LeBron James is the biggest fraud in the NBA. We're just gonna leave that Stanley comment up there.
You know what's crazy? You see, this is what I drive all day at work. It's a forklift. Yeah. I wouldn't trust Daniel Jones on one of those things. Like if he came in here, if he filled out an application, because technically I have a job. I'm sure we all have jobs. Tim is retired. We all have jobs. We're all employed. He's technically unemployed. He might need a job. I would not want him back here with me.
Shoot, if he made $160 million and he still needs a job, that means he don't spend his money correctly.
Well, no, he's all. Let's be fair with Daniel Jones. He's only made $108 million in 6 years.
No. I thought it's like 120 because of the rookie contract too.
That's including the rookie contract. He only made $108 million in his entire NFL.
$108 million for something that I could just do. I could get sacked and throw interceptions and fumble the ball.
I could get sacked and throw interceptions, and I will do it for like $100,000.
I'll do it for 50. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. So he's gotten. Yes, that's why I love when people are like, well, he's been disrespected by the Giants, and not even 5.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You were paid $108 million. You are paid almost $21 million a year over the last 5.5 years to suck.
That's amazing. Meanwhile, go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Every time I see Tim with that jersey, and watching him last night, it's like I just can't. If any of us were at a real job, that's why I say the sports and celebrities, they're in another dimension. It's not the real world. It's not.
No.
Because it's another matrix. Because if your boss came to you and said, "Yo, Bari, yo, man, you don't, no, hold on, no." If he goes, "Yo, man, I don't want to see this project I got you working on. I don't want to see our competitor get that deal, get that contract. Or I'm not gonna be able to sleep for a week." And then a few days later, they get the contract you were supposed to have. That company is flourishing. Yours is struggling around holiday time. You'd probably get fired. you probably get
definitely would.
fired.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this whole thing with, Mara, I'm starting to think that was just for show with the, I'm a billionaire, but I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping giving out these large Pepsis to Tim if we lose Saquon. I'm gonna have to raise, I'm gonna have mediums. I'm gonna have to raise prices. And it's just, what world are we living in that you can make that much of an error and keep your job? Like, seriously.
Like I said, now in the business world, is now referred to as you have Daniel Jones did. That's literally is what we have become right now as I don't know. I really, as a season ticket holder, like I said, I'm and I love this comment because this gentleman says Fisk Vegas had fans thinking Saquon was washed up and we didn't need him, shaking my motherfucking head. Well, he's an idiot.
Yeah, the guy in the skeleton mask and the blue lit red room. Yeah, that guy.
That guy. I'm gonna give a hint to any people that watch Fisk Vegas. I'm gonna give you a hint about this. When you have to put on a mask and come on to the channel and say what you're gonna say, it's either two things. You're either real ugly or you're stupid. And I'm gonna go with the fact that he's stupid. Because you don't know sports, because he said some of the stupidest. James has told me some of the stupidest things that he's literally said, and to have
pretty much
that Saquon Barkley was washed up. But we always said that Daniel Jones couldn't operate behind that offensive line, but somehow that never equated over to Barkley when he was here. Doesn't make sense because they're playing behind the same line, but somehow the running back is supposed to excel with a bad offensive line. But not the quarterback. Just another day.
But it's crazy that the flea flicker play shows it enough on a play where you have the defense caught booty naked. Great call by Daboll. Offensive line. I hear so many people talk about, well, Boomer Esiason. Some of these people need to retire. Well, it's only 3rd and 1. You should just run the ball. No. You caught the defense slipping because they thought you were going to run it. So you do the flea flicker.
You were looking to get the down.
Everybody off guard. Offensive line, great protection. Dudes running wide open to freedom. And the quarterback is deer in headlights. I mean, if that wasn't a more perfect moment to sum his entire career up, him falling down flat on his face, running for the touchdown.
I was thinking of.
Those two plays. Those sum up his career, right? Oh, no. And the third play is him doing this. Hand off to Saquon. Hand off to Saquon. Those 3 plays sum up Daniel Jones' entire career. Falling flat on his face, having great protection, great play calling, guys open, you just don't even throw the ball, and then just handing off.
James, what about the pick 6 that he threw against Seattle? Is that a part of his repertoire as well?
Oh, yeah. The one that we were there live to see.
We were
live.
We were there to watch Witherspoon run that all the way back.
Oh, we were live.
Man. We've told the story a million times that James almost got run out of the stadium because
I did.
Right before that play, he was screaming at the top of his lungs, "We're paying him $160 million to have the motherfucker throw the ball." And then he threw the ball. Witherspoon took it 97 yards. Everyone in the stands and our section turned around.
Literally.
Fucking told him to throw it.
He's not even lying about that. Like, I was literally sitting there screaming. I almost lost my voice. About throw the damn. And he did it. And I was like, holy crap, Tim. Did he just throw a pick 6? I was like, is he right? Holy crap. And the guy, I never forget it, dude, he looked up. The dude, the guy with the 2 sons that I was cursing, and he was probably telling him, don't repeat what that black man's saying.
Yeah.
They all turned around at me, was just like, thanks, man. We don't want him to throw the ball. Can you believe our fans actually said we don't want him to throw the ball because of that?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yo, bro, have a good holiday, bro. You too, brother.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. Listen, I say the Giants fan base is the most delusional fan base in sports right now, because we're the type of team that will look at a pile of shit and be like, if we close one eye, then close the other eye and turn the other way and close our nose, it low-key could be gold.
It kind of looks like a peanut.
Right. So it's like, that doesn't surprise me at all. So
all right, guys. I'm gonna let you go because I got to get out of here at 1, and I want to make sure I get everyone's comments in the chat read. But I appreciate both of you dropping in and giving me your insight in this. I don't know.
Into this madness. into this
mess. But I want to thank you guys for dropping on. Let me kick you guys out because I do want to make sure I get to everyone's comments before we get out there.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Bruce and we got Mr. Big Old James William in his house. Thanks, guys, for dropping in. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. What are we? Oh, James, what are you still doing here? There you go. All right. Let's get back. I want to get back. Well, Kareem, what's going on, brother? What's going on? I don't know, man. I really don't know when. Stanley says, do you think Daniel Jones caused a divide in the locker room after? I do think Daniel Jones did cause somewhat of a divide in the locker room. I do agree with that. I do agree you had a segment of loyal people to Daniel Jones that weren't thinking of a football decision, but were thinking more of this is their teammate, and they kind of went with that. Why is the media obsessed with getting regimes fired in under 3 years? You know what? If you keep making a mistake, we've done this before. We've always done this. We triple down, we double down, we quadruple down on mistakes. We got to stop that. We truly got to stop that. Yo, Saquon's washed up. Oh, it's the idiocy. You could see, and like I said, everyone said the same thing. You can't judge Daniel Jones because of this horrible offensive line, but for some god-awful unknown reason, you can judge a running back with the same type of line. Never made sense. Still never makes any sense to me. And I just don't understand why people would even consider. I don't know. It's not worth paying a running back when the results. Whoa, what's going on here? How come my thing's not working? Oh no, I lost my thing here. Why is my pointer not working? I don't want to report or block anybody. Hold on. So we're having a mechanical issue now. I kicked James out. Oh, I'm on the wrong block. Sorry. I'm on the wrong block. Not paying Daniel Jones to hand off the ball to him. No worries. Just give it to DJ. He's the highest paid running back. Daniel Jones. Good job, DJ. Neighbors' comments is being blown. Well, no, they're not being blown up. They're not. You have done everything to bend over backwards for this guy. Even unretiring the first number ever retired in NFL history. You have done everything for this kid. You are a rookie. You haven't put in your time. No, that's not the way the hierarchy works in the locker room. Maybe it is now. If we get the number 1 pick, we might have to take Travis Hunter. Yeah, we just have no one to throw the ball to. Neighbors is supposed to be pissed. Neighbors is supposed to be pissed as a rookie. It's not that you're supposed to be pissed. It's just you need to know when you're saying things. Can the Meadowlands and MetLife drop the lease in New York Giants? They should. Letting go of Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney for Jones and Burns should get Joe Shane fired immediately. Oh, I agree. I find it weird that the locker room had a bigger issue with Jones benching than Saquon not being signed. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Most wide receivers turn into divas. Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase all do the same thing. Yeah, but most of them turn into divas in like year 3 or year 4, or they don't turn into divas in game 11. Yeah, my level was off because James was on his phone and the thing. Let's see here. Maybe 2-3 guys actually wanting to leave because of Daniel Jones situations. The other just getting to know next year will be different. You got to hope next year will be different. El Scourge, DJ still stinks. Nothing has changed. Browers probably faced easier secondaries, by the way. Washington is not like this great shakes in the second. They're good in the second. They're not great in the second. Giants have not played powerhouses. So they play some teams with some problems. I love this one. Neighbors is turning into Beyonce. Shane says the Giants have taken a few quarterbacks from the Senior Bowl and they didn't work out. Maybe they need to expand their search. What tight end in the NFC East is killing it? What does that have to do with anything? Tight ends killing it in the NFC East. You need to take a break. You're not banned. You're gonna be put in the timeout because I don't want to see any more stupid comments. We don't go to the playoffs and win without Saquon. We don't. And some people don't want to say that. They don't want to get it. Neighbors is not Justin Jefferson, Odell, or Chase. Well said right there. That sums it up. Captain Matumbo says Wilson on the Giants would have had 5 wins in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, but at least we were, you know what? You have to be in games to try to win games. We should have learned that during the 7-2 run. If you're not in the game, you don't have the opportunity for the ball to bounce your direction. You just don't have that opportunity. Why are people blowing me up? Tired of people blowing me up. My Apple Watch. I changed back into my Apple Watch. We need Rick Grimes to save this. We need Rick Grimes. It's a Rick. We need it. You're right, Anthony. We need Rick Grimes to save this team. It should be a dictatorship. It should be a dictatorship. It really should be. But for some unknown reason, we just can't get it together. Pale Rise says, I guess it's a good thing Nabers isn't laying it up right now. Shane would have to let him go to another team and go and keep him homegrown talent. I'm just saying this. Malik needs to know his place. And the NFL locker room hierarchy. You are the 6th overall pick in the draft, 100%. You were brought in here to do a specific job, which was to save the quarterback. And you can literally say, if you wanted to, now I don't subscribe to this, but if you wanted to, you could say that Malik Nabers cost the Giants 2 games because of his drops. You can say that. And if people have said it, and I don't personally believe it, but if you had said it, yeah, you're not wrong, because he did have drops in the most inopportune times that in some regards could have cost the Giants games. But so and to sit here and to have 2 other players that are rookies having better seasons than you on bad teams with bad quarterback play, and you're calling the team soft when you are just standing there on the field at times looking disinterested. I'm sorry, dude. I can't back you on that one. And I said it the moment they gave him number 1. What has he done to earn it? We are no longer in a society at times where you earn things. This is a society now where people want to be given things. You took the first, and we're going to repeat this again for people that do not know this. Number 1 was not only the first number retired by the Giants, but it was the first number retired in NFL history. And we gave it to a rookie who has done nothing. We unretired it to give it to the rookie and then told the fan base, when he leaves, we're going to re-retire it. Could you imagine if we drafted a linebacker 3rd overall, 5th overall, and he's never done anything, and he's known for wearing 56? No, we say, here's 56. We're going to retire it. LT said it's okay. Saquon will go down as the worst GM move in history. You're right. Mr. Weaver says, hey, Tim, what's Aziz is hurt like always. Guess the Giants didn't keep him instead of trading him, which would have benefited greatly from a draft pick. We said this. And that's why you're bringing it up, Mr. Weaver. You and I have talked about this before. You needed to trade Aziz Ojulari. Even if you got a 6 for him and maybe made it a conditional 5, if he met certain requirements, you had to trade him. Because you knew somewhere down the road he was going to get hurt. And he's not coming back. The drops were also from bad Jones throws, but I digress. They were, but the one in the sideline he could have had. He did have his hands on it. You want to be Odell Beckham. You want to make the catch. You got to actually catch the ball. We could have signed Bark and Russell Wilson instead of bringing in Locke. Think about this for a minute. You don't make the Brian Burns trade. You could still sign McKinney. You could still sign Barkley. You could still sign Runyon. You could still sign Ellie Moore Fudd. You could have brought in Russell Wilson at the league minimum and traded for Justin Fields, kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers did, and made yourself a better team instead of putting in a one-dimensional quarterback who has moments. Nabers was given the go-ahead to talk shit. Didn't Daboll encourage it? I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. What is it? What is this? Carl Banks just says, I legitimately do not recognize this brand of New York Giants defense. Get hit with the same 2-punch every week. Coaches don't tackle or miss tackles. They cannot scheme that for y'all. Carl Banks, I love you, bro. As I'm reading your Twitter, I love you. We have been saying here on this channel since training camp, and it only took Carl 11 weeks to come around, that all you have to do is run off tackle on this team. That's all you got to do. It's not difficult to figure out that you have no one behind outside of a Carriquet. You got nobody behind Banks and Thibodeau, and neither of them can play the run. I mean, you gotta love it, Carl. You gotta love it. And I love it because now we have the comments from after the game of Dexter Lawrence about playing soft. Here, hold on. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to Dexter. Let's listen to Big Dex.
Are you angry? Extremely. We play soft, and they beat the out of us today.
When you say you played soft or your ball club played soft, can you be more specific?
We missed a lot of tackles. We didn't contain Baker well in the scrambles. We didn't cover well. It's soft to me.
I don't call that soft. I just call that really bad play. You couldn't get off the field on a 7-play opening drive. You had them on third down, I don't know how many times. As someone that was at the game, you couldn't get off the field. You couldn't get off the field at all. I'm just reading more Carl Banks stuff. Because I just love reading Carl Banks stuff because it just makes me laugh. Because he's been wrong for so long, and now all of a sudden he's like, oh, you know what I've been saying, guys? I've been saying that, I'm always saying this stuff that the Giants just are a bad team. You know, we that's just what I've been saying all season long. Yeah, I don't know, Carl. I've been in all the games. I love watching you make me. I love you. Hey, I don't make excuses, man. Stop it. I love watching Carl. I just love Carl Banks. The worst GM move was to draft Saquon at the second overall pick. Glad him and Jones are gone. The team needs to actually tank season like this one. Razzle says, slap the fuck out. Like, it's embarrassing looking at the Giants draft position in week 11. Tanking is not the Giants culture. You're right. The GM needs to go, preferably before the season ends. Tim, that jersey is fire. I could never wear. Listen, I mean, I'll wear an Eagles jersey. I don't care. Doesn't bother me because I'm not 12 years old. But I always laugh though because I just don't like the green jerseys. I like their black jerseys. I could never wear Eagles green jersey because I just don't like them. Let's see. That's just me. I'm definitely getting my 26. Go get your 26, man. I got my Xavier McKinney jersey too. I'm gonna wear that now. I'm gonna wear that on Thanksgiving. I got my Malik Willis one as well. I got them all. You know what's funny as shit? When the draft was coming out with the Malik Willis draft, when that draft was out, I made a Giants number 7 Malik Willis jersey. And yes, I know it's Mel Hines' number and it's retired. And I did it as a joke just to piss people off. And I got so much shit for it. But a couple years later, we unretire number 1 to give to Malik Nabers, even though it was the first number ever retired in NFL history. But I was wrong. You got to let Dave and Shane both go. Dame has lost team. Shane has set the team back 5 years. I think we've said that for a while. Saquon is the beast. You know what else isn't part of our culture? Winning. At least Shane didn't draft a running back 2nd overall. No, he took he took 5 and 7. He took Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. Saquon Barkley won the Rookie of the Year. Saquon Barkley ran the Giants into the playoffs in 2022. Saquon Barkley has 1,000 yards rushing seasons with the team. Kayvon Thibodeau and Avon, that's what it should be. Avon Neal. because he should go sell Avon. Evan Neal has done nothing. Kayvon Thibodeau is a bust. I keep seeing people saying we are tanking, but tanking is just we're bad. You're right. Big Blue says, please give me the hell for buying. People gave me hell for buying a Barkley jersey. Sorry, he's gonna be my best player. You know what I always tell people? I just don't care. It is Avon Neal because that's what he's going to be selling. Hi, this is Evan Neal. I work for Avon. I'd like to show you some of our scented candles. Let's see here. We always said it before, Razzle. Well, people say that I'm a genius, but you really can't mess up 5 and 7. Yeah, you did a good job at that, Joe. You did a good job. Who would you want to bring in as coach and GM? I've said this before. I've said this many times before. If you want to bring in Bill Belichick, I'm down for that. But you give Bill Belichick John Mara's job, which is president of football operations, and have Belichick oversee everything. I personally would bring in Brian Flores. I may even decide to promote Brandon Brown, because if you watched Hard Knocks, Brandon Brown was right about a lot of things, and Joe Shane was very dismissive of his entire staff. Those guys are supposed to be your sounding boards. Those guys are supposed to be the guys that you listen to. Brandon Brown says, you don't go and draft a choir boy. Oh, that's a good one. I'm getting my OBJ LSU jersey. That's a good one. I like that one. I'm getting a David Wilson jersey. You mean like this one? The autographed David Wilson jersey? Maybe we'll give that away one day. Saquon also leads the league in right back touches. Last year, yes, Saquon carried the team. Let's see here. Our GM is a joke. Behind the Feed says, I root for Barkley because he didn't choose the Eagles. Shane chose the Eagles for him. Well, the Eagles gave him money. Well, you got to add Avon Neals to the soundboard. I'm going to have to type that. Hold on. You know what? That was kind of funny. You know what? I'm going to have to add Avon Neal. I'm actually texting that to myself. So we'll do it. We'll do an Avon Field one. Brian Flores will stop trying to coach once he gets his job as FU to the organization. Well, they're not going to hire him because of the fact that he's still suing them. I miss David Wilson. I think you're probably the only one. Let's see here. Flores would be great here, but I don't think Mara has a stomach for a move like that. No, he's not going to have a stomach for a move that's going to be boisterous, be vocal. He's not gonna stomach that. He's not gonna move that at all. That's not gonna move the needle on that. Where do we go, my lovely? I wanna know. Don't keep me waiting. I'm trying to see. I'm supposed to do something at 1:00. I'm trying to see what I'm supposed to do. We got 110 people in the chat, so make sure if you're in the chat, hit the like button because we only got 57 likes. I'm supposed to do something at 1. I don't remember now what I'm supposed to do. Chris, for the love of MMA, loved Wilson before he was forced into retirement. Let's see here. They would rather sign Belichick's corpse, and that is sad. But Chris also said, smash that like button. Mike Vrabel, no. No, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, for what he did in Tennessee, got himself run out of Tennessee. I followed the damn Tennessee Titans for 2.5 years because of Malik Willis. So I watched the Mike Vrabel implosion. And it was an implosion. And it was bad. And it was ugly to watch. That's why he doesn't have a job. So may get one next year, but no, stay far away from Mike Vrabel. Bo Nix is how he's playing. Making his Neighbors picks looks like the right move. Oh, Bo Nix. Like I said, I thought Bo Nix was now listen, one season does not a career make, but I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Bo Nix was a more athletic Daniel Jones. He's hit 64% of his passes, 2,548 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He's looked good. But let's see what happens in year 2. We have this propensity as not even Giant fans, but as fans, to have watched someone have a good rookie season, anoint them the next big thing, and then have them flame out next year and be out of the league in year 4. Mr. Esquire says, Mara needs to blow it up again. Shane and Daboll are not the answer again. The fan base will not be inspired next year. I'm not inspired now. Drafting a wide receiver second who had 302 yards and 2 touchdowns is stupid. He's also has the most rushing yards he has ever had in his career in 11 games? 12 games? How many home games are left? How many home games are left? Okay, so we have, I'm not going to the Saint game. How many home games do we have left? So we have the Saints. I'm not going to that game. I'm going to go to the Ravens. I'm not going to go to the Colts. So I'm going to one more game. Yippee. I've seen a lot of names mentioned for head coach and general manager, but I'm wondering who would want to come here at this point in time. Wink and Ben Johnson combo would be pretty good. Wink's not coming back here. Wink's already bashed the Giants. Wink's already said at one point in time, yeah, it's nice to be a team with 6-1. Don't leave me hanging on the Joe Shane telephone call. Oh my God. Joe Shane. What do we got here? I wish the media would stop with the Barkley bullshit. Yeah, Shane is a retard, but Barkley would not be putting up those numbers on this team. It's infuriating. Here's the question, Scott. How do you know that? The offensive line had improved until yesterday. The offensive line had improved and has improved, has played better. Tyrone Tracy, I've seen some pretty wide open holes
That's what she said.
for Tyrone Tracy to run through. I'm not going to say he'd be putting up the yards he's putting up now, but I think he would have a pretty good season. It's a nay on Sanders. He is unimpressive against Kansas. I've been saying, listen, I like Ward better than Sanders. Sanders has the name. Sanders has the cachet. Sanders also has Daddy as the head coach the last 3 seasons. What happens when Daddy's no longer the head coach? Just throwing it out there. He's got some moments where he's been a little truculent with his own teammates. He's had some moments where he called out another quarterback at the end of the game a couple of weeks back. I think there's more of an opportunity for him to be a Josh Rosen here than anything else. And I think at times I think Cam Ward is more of a safer pick. And I think if you have the talent that go around it, yeah, then I think he's going to be a good player. Cam Ward or Travis Hunter, please. I'm going Cam Ward. Bo Nix actually had a good quarterback coach, though. Shane Payton is a better coach than Brian Daboll. That's the thing. You take a look at Matt LaFleur. I give Matt LaFleur all the props for turning around Jordan Love and Malik Willis. Really do. You really do. Because he's put both of those quarterbacks in situations where they can succeed. Cam Ward is a bigger version of Kyler Murray. I'm not even sure he's a bigger version of Kyler Murray. You really have to fire Joe Shane. I agree 1,000%. Behind the Fiend says, I wanted Penix, but you know, they make too much sense. It made sense if you would have and now if you take, we've gone through this earlier in the stream. We see that Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers, and Brian Thomas Jr., and even in some regards, Marvin Harrison, are all having better seasons than Malik Nabers. You could get a good wide receiver last year later in the draft. You could have taken Penix. You could have traded down, taken Penix, and then grabbed a wide receiver. And then had the Daniel Jones salary cap money. And then you could have kept Barkley. You could have kept Xavier McKinney. You could have still gone out and fixed the offensive line, and you still would have had salary cap money. But Joe Shane tripled down on stupidity. Admiral Tim says, have an awesome and successful week, Tim. Thank you, everyone. Have yourself a merry holiday. Tell me how many winning teams draft a running back at 2nd overall, though? How many winning teams have drafted a quarterback at 2nd overall and had them flame out? How many winning teams have done that? Back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, you didn't win without defense and a running game. Saquon Barkley is a playmaker, not a running back. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Stanley says, hey, Tim, what do you think of Deion Sanders coaching the Giants and have the team draft his son? No. And to all the people that are sitting there going, well, Deion's not going to come here, man, because he's got the top quarterback prospect and coming out of high school, so he ain't coming here, man, because of that. And Steve Spurrier was never going to coach in the NFL, and when there was another coach that was never going to go to some other team and win championships, yeah, it don't fucking matter. Saquon is a playmaker. If he has a line has a top 3 O-line. Wouldn't anyone be able to play to a top 3 O-line? He had 2 touchdowns versus Minnesota in a playoff game. Yeah, well, we forget that. We cooked so hard. Saquon got 2 top 10 picks in 2022. Come Ward, please. Lorenzo, what's up? I almost feel like it's a mistake to draft a quarterback this year. Our team is not a quarterback away from the playoffs. We'd be putting him in the same situation or same position we did at Daniel Jones. But here's the problem. So if you don't take a quarterback, if we've said this a million times, if you don't take your bat off the shoulder and swing, you're never going to get a hit. And we've done that for 6 years. We haven't drafted a quarterback. We're not swinging. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. We don't even take a shot. It's time to take a shot. And I'm not talking taking a shot at Fireball. We cooked so hard that Saquon Eli retired a year later. Let's see here. Behind the scenes, Sanders shoving the refs along. I forgot about that. I forgot about him shoving the ref too. His attitude issue, because I think he is a talented, spoiled child. I kind of think that too. No nonsense. We've always secured the most important position for your franchise. Besides GM, Joe doesn't have a luxury of time. LaFleur is a good coach that had to suffer Aaron Rodgers. LaFleur, because I turned into a quasi Packer fan this year, and because of the Xavier McKinney thing, and I've always owned Packer stock. I am partial owner of the Green Bay Packers. I have my stock here somewhere in this room, so I am an owner of the Packers. I didn't know how good of a coach Matt LaFleur was until I started watching all the Green Bay Packer games, and I kept thinking to myself, yeah, he's got that simpatico relationship with the general manager, knows how to find talent, but he's just a good coach. Plain and simple. And that's what we need. He better get a quarterback this draft or he's gone. Cam Ward, Kyler Murray size, scary potential. I know they say Cam Ward is 6'2". And I've said this before. Is that college 6'2"? Because there's a difference. Tim is the realest Giant podcaster. All facts. I like facts. Talk with Zoe says, what's crazy is you've been skeptical on Schoen Daboll. All those flaws are coming to light. Tim is truly the best at this. I would thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Lorenzo. I really do appreciate that. I would like, and it's weird though, because I always tell people I'm like Novocaine. Sometimes it takes some time to work. And I always tell people when I say something, it's not for the moment, it's for the long haul. And when I point things out, I'm just pointing things out. I'm not trying to be disparaging. I'm not trying to be controversial. I just say what I see. And I've always said, this is not a fan channel. This is a New York Giant channel. This is not a New York Giant fan channel. So I'm able to point things out. And I've been skeptical with Schoen and Daboll since the day they were hired. I did a bullshit meter on the Joe Judge press conference. And the bullshit meter just went off and you can go back and watch these videos, went off the chart. I said the bullshit meter's off the chart because he sounds like he's just a teacher. He sounds like he's a high school teacher. And when I pointed out that Dalvin Tomlinson, when Joe Judge decided he was going to be like a normal guy, I'm going to show these guys that I'm a normal guy. I'm going to do the fumble drill in the mud. Show these guys I'm a normal guy. And the first thing I noticed when he did that drill, Dalvin Tomlinson had the hose, and as Joe Judge was running to go get the ball and sliding, Dalvin Tomlinson was shooting him right in the face with the water. And I did a video, and I had that on the thumbnail, and I said, this isn't good. Because it just shows me that Dalvin Tomlinson had this much animosity towards Joe Schoen from what he had done for the last year and a half, that he is literally shooting him in the face with a hose as he's trying to show he's one of the guys. So I've always said before, I like to say that I'm omnipotent. I like to say that I'm right about everything, but I usually have a good percentage of being right because I look at what's in front of me, I see it, and I tell you the truth. And the truth may not come to fruition immediately because we are a microwave society where everyone wants everything to happen right away. But if you look 2-3 years down the road, usually I'm right. So, and I've said it before. I didn't want to, even when Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year, I kept saying to people, 7-2, 2-5-1. You beat the worst playoff defense that I've seen in 30 years, and then you got smoked in Philly. And 2 of those wins you probably shouldn't have had. You probably should have been 5-7-1 and been 7-9-1 for the season. Because of football, and that's what I try to explain to people. And these are people that I love that do shows, and I love that are on these Twitter spaces and everything else that never played the game because they never understand the fact that I tell them the ball is shaped that way for a reason because it's there to make you look foolish, and it bounces certain ways. And sometimes those ways, it goes your way, and it may go your way for an entire season. Hell, it happened with the Atlanta Falcons when Dan Reeves when they went to the Super Bowl. It bounces that way sometimes for an entire season, but then the bounces go away. The law of averages finally catch up to you, and it starts bouncing other ways and not bouncing your way. So you're no worse than you were last year. It's just you're not getting the breaks. Tim, what do you think about drafting Sanders Award, last pick, undrafted free agent, back as well? I say you got to take either one of them. Like I said, I'm not taking Sanders. Sanders to me is just the Malik Nabers waiting to happen in New York. That he's gonna say something. He's gonna do something. I forgot that he just shoved the ref. I talked about it a couple weeks back when he called out that one quarterback at the end of the game because they had an Instagram spat. And I mean, it's just there's just too much childish. Tim, I feel bad for Tom. He has to heart but lacks the NFL talent. He really does. And the offensive line gave him no shot in that first half. No shot. People want to blame Tommy DeVito. Well, he was slow to process. He was slow to do this. Well, no, he just had no opportunity and no chance. He threw a ball where Malik Nabers got upended. And it was a timing pass to a spot. And Malik almost didn't turn. I mean, not Malik. Wando Robinson almost didn't turn around fast enough to get the ball, but Tommy threw him the ball quickly because it was like a 6-yard out. And I love it, though, because as he was throwing it, he got wrecked the same time Wandell got wrecked. So it kind of just shows. We could accurately say Daboll isn't complete trash. Shane could say and shackle them. In some regards, you can, but Giants. Shane makes all his decisions based on my geo mode in Madden. Could tell Shane was a douche because his name sounds that way. I love that because I have a friend named Schoen, and it's spelled the same way as Shane says his. It's spelled the same way as Shane, and I always thought Shane was Shane. So yeah, he's a douche, and he eats Uncrustables. I eat the rich man peanut butter and jelly. Jason says, you know what I like about Tommy DeVito? He plays with his heart and lays it all on the line. You could say as a fan connected. Tommy Jones was a robot, failed mode. Yeah, Tommy is good. Tommy's fine. I don't think, and I've said this even when Tommy was winning last year, I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I kind of don't think he's a backup quarterback. But because you flame out in Illinois and Syracuse, and coming down drafted free agent, there's a reason because of that. But he plays with heart. He plays with passion. He plays with this. There's just something about his persona. You almost want to take his persona and put it into Daniel Jones's body, but I wouldn't even want to do that because Daniel Jones still does not have talent. Razzle the Great says, clown Judge Stanley says, hey, Tim, I think Shedeur Sanders is more NFL ready than Cam Ward because he's playing in an NFL pro style system while Ward is playing good. It takes him a while to play a profile system. Normally, I would say that. And normally, if you watch Ward always in the shotgun in Miami. But there's a team not too far from me. I think it's Eagles, it's called. And they have a quarterback that is very similar in play and in size and in stature as Cam Ward. And he's doing okay. And they mainly play out of the shotgun. which I think is a benefit to Saquon Barkley because that gives Saquon Barkley the chance because he can see the entire field by the way he's playing. Being a Giant fan, living in the Cherry Hill area sucks. We need to fix this crap ASAP. Eagles fans on cloud nights can't stand it. Oh, I agree. Give me the hard worker over the spoiled child every time. I'm old school. I'm the exact same way. Nothing will change until the team gets sold. Mara is now 0-4 regime and hired. Tom Coughlin was hired by Wellington. The Giants are now in the losers NFL team purgatory. Yep. No to Sanders. Oh, I agree with that all the way. Petro, hey, Tim. I was on the fence about getting rid of Daboll after yesterday. Everyone needs to go. There's definitely no talent on this team. Thanks, Joe Shane, but you don't want to play with thanks, Brian Daboll. Here's the thing, Petro. There is talent on this team. There is. It's not like this team is truly devoid of talent. I do not think they have the worst talent in the league. It's just the collection of talent was not put together well by Joe Shane. Joe's definitely going to go. But when you cut and paste talent and you cut and paste anything in life and try to fit it into a mold that kind of just doesn't fit, things don't go well. You have more individual talent than you have team talent. I think that's a better way to say it. Bridge quarterback this year, and wait for Arch. Arch is 2026, though. He's not eligible 2026. Razzlegrade says, it appears Daboll has lost the locker room. Does he survive to see next season? He's probably not. Giants are not known for firing in season. They're not known for that. This team needs at least 2 years to heal from the Daniel. Yeah, Zach. 2025, Zach. We've been saying it, have we, brother? Petra says, I'm sorry. This is a sorry-ass team. They always say franchise shouldn't listen to fans because they're reactive. But this time, Mara needs to open up his damn ears because listen to the stadium is deafening. What the fuck, Mara? What's up, Charlie? With the second pick, here we go. With the second pick in the NFL draft, the New York Giants select Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami University, or it would be the U. I'm not against it. I'm not against. Like I said, I was a Carson Beck fan going into the season. I'm seeing a lot of stuff I watched with Carson Beck. I just did a video about the quarterbacks, and it was funny because I did the video the day before Daniel Jones got shit canned, and the video still stands on what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It was more of an insight of the quarterbacks than anything else. And like I said, I like Cam Ward. I didn't really like him in Washington State. But I kind of like what he does in Miami. There was a game, what was it, 2 weeks ago that he lost with that bad fumble, but he literally hung in the pocket. And it's not like he hung in the pocket just because he didn't know what to do. It was nobody was open, but he hung in that pocket he should have run, but he was trying to get the ball downfield and he was continuously looking downfield, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. Petro says, if Joe and Daboll are here next year, I won't be watching at this point. Sick of the circus. As Blake said, honestly, Tommy at the 100 level would be Baker Mayfield. Am I wrong? He's not Baker Mayfield. He's not. Yeah, you're wrong. Razzlegrade said the GM goes and says, Daboll, you can't keep that one and not the other. You got to get rid of both because Shane brought in Daboll. Shane signed Daniel Jones. Shane let go of Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, Evan Ingram, and Julian Love. Shane drafted the likes of Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Darren Beavers. You know, we can continue with his draft misses all day. And he also traded for Brian Burns when we were nowhere near a defensive end away. You have to let him go. Carson Beck is exactly who the Giants will end up drafting, though. Beck screams Mara. That's what worries me. Carson Beck, I've said this before. I think Carson Beck is going to be next year's J.J. McCarthy in the draft. I'm not saying they have the same talent. What I'm saying is the progression up the draft board and up the draft ladder. I think he's going to be this year's J.J. McCarthy. And we don't know what J.J. is yet, but I don't know. Peter says, I'm happy Nabers was talking shit to the media because the only way this organization will listen is when you were legit be the laughingstock of the league. Yeah. So MetLife is the cursed. We all know it's cursed. Well, the Jets and the Giants since 2010, when the Giants opened up and the Jets have a 400 record, Giants have 427. Darren who? Darren Beaver. Darren, leave it to Beavers. That's not that I don't like Daboll. I just feel he's not the coach you hire for a rebuild, and you do it. I believe he'll be a great. You know, I think that's right. I think he will be I think he would be a great college coach. Charlie says the Eagles, Saquon, Jersey, Barkley, great stuff. Best Giants channel. Marvin said, "Oh, I forgot about the trade for Darren Waller, and we also forgot him signing Paris Campbell." We forget about how bad he has been. I'll just leave this comment up because it's just awesome. Let's see here. Blake said, what does Jason say? If we don't draft a quarterback, I'm going to start cooking and smoking my own crack. Heard you can make a business out of that. Can we call it the Coughlin curse? No, it is the Eli curse. It is the Eli curse. Mr. Roberts says Beck is going to be this year's Daniel Jones. I've heard reports that there is a top 5 pick that wants to draft Beck after history will repeat itself. Oh my God. It's just another day. It's just another Pleasant Valley Sunday here in Status Symbol Land. All the same, and the kids just don't understand. Zacatec says we have 2 players on this team, effort players and players that rely on their talent. You're right. That's a great way to put it. Honest, hasn't GM Joe already been to 2 Beck games this year? Or he actually has been to Beck and Cam Ward games. So I think you're right. Let's see. Isaiah. Tim Nabers is the Daniel Jones of wide receivers. Listen, guys, I'm just going to leave you with this, and I keep telling people this all the time. Malik Nabers talks about the team being soft. Here's Malik Nabers standing away from everyone, tapping his feet on the side during the first quarter. He's calling him out from not getting him the ball in the second quarter, until the second half, but here is him looking kind of disinterested and away from the entire team. I could just leave that up there because I love that. Because like I said, I was literally watching this and I said, he just doesn't seem like he wants to be here. And I was like, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to grab my phone and take a quick picture. But then I thought to myself, and I said it out loud, well, you know what's probably going to happen? There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to get this picture because he's probably going to move by the time I get the camera. And no, he was still there. I took like 5 or 6 of these. But that's all right. Watch the Giants draft Dart at 2. I kind of like Dart, not at 2, but what is he doing? He's just standing there. He is literally just standing there by himself, tapping his feet. Literally. And I'm watching this and I'm going, there's a game. If can I do that? Because if you don't want to play, I could just stand on the field and tap my foot. Neighbors in the pick all by himself. What the fuck? And Razzle's great. You know what's funny? Like I said, I laughed though because I literally grabbed my phone. I had my phone in my pocket because it was cold. I had my phone in my pocket and I said, there's no way he is still going to be standing there by the time I grab my phone, aim it, and take a picture. I literally think I took 5 before he moved. Neighbors was a bad pick because he didn't want to be a giant, need the body language, that and the fact that when Caleb Williams and him were on that call, Caleb Williams was, joking with him about him going to New York and playing with that guy. And all of a sudden he just cut off the live feed. Neighbors looks like Kenny G in Thursday night's Eel game when Jones missed him wide open twice. That's actually good. That's actually a good analogy. Hey, Tim, I think the Giants are going to draft Drew Alder out of Penn State. No. Not in the first round, maybe later if you don't take a quarterback, if you go with like a Travis Hunter or something, but I don't think you should. You got to go quarterback. Let's see. Do you think he was playing left field? It kind of looked like, you know what, Razzle, that is a great comment. It kind of, if you look at it, and if you've ever played left field, and I laughed though, because if you've ever played if you are a bad defensive player, it's just baseball 101. You take your worst defensive player, especially if they can hit, and you put them in left field. Malik Nabers does look like he's playing left field at Yankee Stadium. But I love it because you're going to have all these people like, well, Malik is right. He was right. Their team is soft and they quit. Okay, Malik, I got 5 more of these. Would you like me to send them to you on a greeting card? Just throwing that out there. Penn State plays no one. They never do. Let's see. Joe legit got rid of the talent on this team. Barely added any back. Secondary hasn't had an interception in 10 weeks, but we are happy with our safety pick too. Xavier McKinney's got 7 interceptions. We have 1. I mean, I think that sums it up. And I kept telling people I am not enamored with Nubin and Phillips. Not that I don't think they're going to be good players, but I just you are replacing the talent level. And if you does everyone want to cry? Razzle. You want to cry? You want to cry? I'll make you guys cry. Julian Love and Xavier McKinney have 9 total interceptions. And we have 0. I mean, but don't worry, these are good guys. They're good guys. And I always love it because I try to point out to people that remember Aaron Robinson? He was going to be a great corner. And I remember his first preseason game. And everyone told me how great he looked. Oh, he looked great. He looked fucking awesome. He's making all these tackles. And I tried to remind people, I said, but are you aware of the fact that the reason he is making the tackles is because he's allowing the completions? And your job as a defensive back, especially a corner, is to not allow the completion. So it's great that he's making the tackle, but he's making the tackle after the catch. And sometimes you wish a light bulb would go off for people. It's like it's after the catch, guys. He's not knocking the ball down. He's not stopping the play from happening. He is making the catch. He's making the tackle after the catch. So when you have people like Tyler Nubin who's racking up all these tackles, that's great. But why are they making all these tackles? And when your safety is making the majority of the tackles, it's because they're getting to the second and third level. He's not playing closer to the line and stopping the plays. As a former safety, I could tell you this. Tim, I'm laughing to keep from crying. Juan says Joe Schoen should be embarrassed at this product on the field. Any other city or team, Joe Schoen would have been gone. Can we admit this, that any other place in this organization, Joe Schoen would have been thrown out. Joe Schoen would have been taken out and just been told to go. Don't go away, man. Just go away. I love it right now because someone posted they should have John Gruden come and coach. And wait, there's a Malik Nabers comment here. I got to play this because I got to play this Malik Nabers comment. Hold on. There's a Malik. I got some Malik Nabers audio. Hold on. Here we go, guys. Hold on. Let's turn this shit up. Let's put the needle on the record.
It ain't the quarterback. Same outcome when we had DJ at quarterback. When you take a look. It ain't the quarterback. So
what do you think?
What is it? I don't know what it is. Everybody know better than me. Is it the play call? We'll take 3 more. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
People are right. He's got to stop chewing the fucking gum. He's got to stop. He's got to stop with the gum. Please, for the love of God, stop with the gum. I'm begging. I beg of thee. Please stop chewing the fucking gum. Hey, Tim, look at the. I've looked at Colin McCord because Big Don, who's always on the show, he is a huge Syracuse fan. So I've actually watched Colin McCord. I think he's more of a Clayton Tune. Let's see here. I don't think Daboll and Schoen are a package deal going out. They should be. We should storm the building. Security can't take all of us. He has made a ton of fireable offenses, but not reading talent nor the salary cap. Those are fireable offenses. Take a look at it. Ain't the quarterback. Malik Nabers is not wrong. Malik Nabers is not wrong. Is he wrong for saying it? 1,000%. Is he wrong for the attitude that he has? 1,000%. Has the team done everything to bend over backwards and create a diva culture for him? 1,000%. You have 2 touchdowns. You have the second most targets in the entire NFL. You only average 4 yards on your yak. You only average 10 yards of reception. You would think at this point in time, and yes, I have blamed DJ for ball placement, but you would think you would break a play. You haven't. You have had fourth quarter drops. You've had fourth down drops. You are not playing at this level. Lad McConkey, Brock Bowers, and Brian Thomas Jr. are playing better than you, and both, all 3, are not playing with talented quarterbacks. So maybe we shouldn't just, I don't know, stand around the field tapping our toes playing left field at Yankee Stadium looking disinterested. Maybe we should look and have a little self-reflection and try harder on the field instead of calling everyone else soft. I'm just throwing that out there, guys. I'm just literally throwing that out there. Oh, laughing in John Mara's face, should have been immediately gotten him fired. What an arrogant piece of shit. You're 100% right. Take a look at Ink, the quarterback. I just reposted that. I didn't see that one because I was busy all this morning. I didn't see that one. Key said it best. Joe has to be locked in a small closet with no ball shame social within the next 20-mile radius of him. Samuel Banks says some of the players shout need media training also. Yeah. We've talked about that. Joe Shane needs media training, especially in New York. It's a pop. Oh, my God. There's Malik Nabers out there in the center of left field at Yankee Stadium. It's a pop fly to Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers is still tapping his toes. We wonder when he's going to break on the ball. Oh, my God. Especially in New York, you're 100% right. Guys, I don't know. I really don't know. There's talk about John Gruden. People are like, what about John Gruden in 2025? Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this just because it is what it is. Because I was in Tampa and for 2 years. And I'm going to tell you this like it is. The emails that John Gruden sent, while reprehensible in regards to the language and content, is commonplace in the NFL. It was worse back in the early 2000s. So basically, the cancel culture canceled John Gruden, even though he kind of did things that everyone does and says. There is back when I was there, and there's a lot of machismo, there's a lot of manliness in the NFL locker room. So what John Gruden got bashed for is not something that is not prevalent in the NFL. He's not the only one to do it. He's the one that got caught because of the whole Dan Schneider thing. Yeah, I'm coming up right now, baby, because of the Dan Schneider stuff. But because of the Dan Schneider. I mean, I would not bring John Gruden only because of what John Gruden did over in Vegas or LA at that point in time. But he's a good coach. He's a hard-nosed coach. He just wouldn't make it in New York. It wouldn't make it to New York. The culture is wrong. When Coughlin left, there's no discipline nor player development. No to Gruden, not in New York. Have a good one, Tim. Thank you, Zach. Did you ever see the video of Okereke not tackling the guy too? None of the players wanted to. First bangs the Neighbors. Okereke not tackling, and they won't bench him. I said, Petro, the game that got Banks called out. That game where he dogged it. There was a play not too far before that Okereke dogged it as well. He slowed up. He literally slowed up to the play. Stopped running. But no one said shit. Just throwing that out there. Gruden will be back, just not with the Giants. Have a great one. You know what, guys? We are going to end it right now because I got a lot of things to do today. I want to thank everyone that's hanging out on Twitter, hanging out on Facebook, and all the other places. This is Tim New York Giants right now. Powered by Online Big Blue LLC. You know what, guys? Have yourself a good day. Big video tomorrow, and we're out of here. Peace.